welcome everyone to another broadcast of The Soul of the Everyman on the ArtistFirst Radio Network. All past shows are archived. You can find them at ArtistFirst.com. Please send us your questions and comments. Hit us up at DJ@ArtistFirst.com. And now out to your hosts, Michael and Margaret Lyons.
And thank you very much. See, man, it is Michael and Margaret Lyons. And I'm Michael.
And I'm Margaret.
And we're both lions. It's like awesome. and you people are you. All of you know who you are, right? Yeah, I'm not gonna. And tonight, we're actually kind of doing a sort of a continuation. Not really a continuation, but a point came up in our last show, which I'm sure you folks have all memorized. Our last show was it ranged all around. It was basically the topic was, God is a saying, the old trite saying that God will never give you anything more than you can handle, and we discussed the fact that how that becomes sort of a not only trite but almost insulting under some conditions. But one of the things in the depths of that discussion that we kind of hit upon is that in these things that God gives you, these things which could be more than you can handle, oftentimes you feel isolated, especially if you're going through a trial. And then, there's sometimes somebody who will come and, in essence, present themselves as wanting to help you in your trial, and this is oftentimes it's something that they would like to do. They would like to help you because they don't want to see you suffering, or they don't want to see you going through the trial. But in many cases, there's not much you can do. But the thing that you always can do, and that's where the discussion sort of came up at that point, and we went into it for a little bit right then, is that you can be there, you can be present.
Right. And being present in a situation that is uncomfortable is not painful to see, is uncomfortable but often very painful to see is difficult, because you must decide to be there. And it has nothing to do with your comfort level. So that's the first step. Are you willing to be there when you don't want to be there? Suddenly your comfort zone and what makes you warm and fuzzy is you can't even begin to accept that. Because the minute you take a hold of that, you are going to want to run away. And that's that point right there. If you've decided that you are uncomfortable and you don't want to stay in that discomfort or even bear the discomfort, you get happy feet. You wind up leaving. And there's very little that will allow you to stay, because what your focus is not the other person, but yourself. So who is at the center of your consideration?
Well, and what you're really coming right upon is there's, when you are faced with this situation, let's say that there's a trial happening to someone that you know, and you would like to help. You realize that you can't provide any material help, but they ask you to do a simple thing, which is just to be present. Be with me, stay with me. And then right at that moment, you have to make a decision, because it's as we mentioned last week, it's an open-ended commitment. It's I don't know what's going to be required of me. I really can't do anything. I can't ever say that it's done. You have to make a decision in a moment where you have no idea what you're really committing yourself to. You just have to trust. So that's where people get the happy feet, because it's like, well, I have my stamp collection needs curating, and I promised I'd go bowling with the guys. You want to push them back to the isolation. You came there with all great intentions of trying to help. What you really wanted to do was to do something, concrete, large or small. Let's say it's just something that they actually needed, and that you could walk away. You wanted to contribute, but you didn't want to commit. So, the true role of a person who makes himself available and present is open-ended. It's somewhat of a commitment. It's scary because it's open-ended, because we don't know. But yet,
it just brought up a memory of a discussion I was having with some of the moms, and we all agreed that most people, when they want to help, they want to help their way.
yes,
They don't necessarily want to help you the way your need happens to be, but they want to help their way.
yeah, that's a great line. That's another show, folks. Helping your way. We're gonna have to write that one down. But let's back up a little bit. So suppose you say, I love this person. I want to just be here for you, and you throw to some extent you throw your time into their hands. And at that point, what are you doing? You're not, and we mentioned this last week. You're not actually helping, but yet you are. What you're doing is an essential kind of very important role. You're reconnecting this person, which is in a trial. When you're in a trial, you're isolated. No one wants to witness you. No one wants to look at you. No one wants to interact with you, because there's this idea, and I think you said it last week, of this sort of a contagion. Well, if I get too close, I could get it too. Maybe something bad will happen to me. Maybe lightning will strike twice. Mm-hmm. So that you have to be brave to get close to someone who's suffering, because you think, well, this could come to me, and then you have to say, well, you say I'll do it, and what you're really doing for that person by being present and being quiet and observing is you're reconnecting them back to the whole. You're saying, you're not isolated. I know you're suffering. I want to just be here. I can't do anything except witness. And that's our topic. And we should probably define the word.
Yeah, we should. Most people think of a witness in a court hearing.
Right, or in a relocation program.
Yeah. And the whole idea of witness is you are a set of eyes, and you are taking in what is exactly in front of you. An ideal witness is one that basically capable of telling exactly what had happened without any spins going on. It just is. Almost as if you were a camera.
But you're more than a camera.
Right.
Because you're a human being who, when you receive somebody as your witness, if you're the sufferer, you feel that you're not alone anymore. So you're doing something very important. You're right. You can't do it, and that's the same thing you just said. You can't witness on your own terms. You can't witness your way. I want to help my way. I want to witness my way. You have to be a set of eyes, a set of ears. You have to be present to say, I am you. I could be all of us. That's the contagion part. You have to say, well, this could happen to me, and I want to be your witness, because I want you to realize that you're not alone, that this isn't something that only happens to you because probably you deserve it. No, this could happen to anybody, and that my connection, I am representative of the current, everyone pretty much feeling that they're okay, part of humanity, saying that the you not feeling okay, part of humanity, is still part of humanity. So being a witness is incredibly important, but it's also a big commitment and something that you could be scared to do.
Yes. I think of families that have members that are addicted to something.
Mm.
And they're there, they want to help, but they also find out that unless this person wants help, there's nothing really that they can do. And that's difficult as well, because you just want to take them by the hand and say, okay, this is bad for you. You should let go of this. You shouldn't. This is going to kill you. But logic has nothing to do with it. And so you're in a situation where, look, that person has the option of choosing, if they really want to choose, to go another way. When you're dealing with people who are in this terminal kind of illness, and you're already fighting, and how do I say this? What you wind up witnessing is their response to the various situations that come up. What do they choose in that moment? And that's what you wind up witnessing for them.
Right. I want to not to go too far past your initial point, though, which I think was incredibly insightful, in that there is a little difference between someone who is in the throes of an addiction, which is still, it's a terrible thing that can happen to somebody. But there is a point at which they decide to accept that they need help. I think that a person who's undergoing a trial, a physical trial, or a trial that they have no control over, never has that kind of period of time where they refuse the witness or they refuse help. They are in this situation right there. So let's say both these trials, whatever they are, come to that point. They come to the point where you just want someone to be present, where you're willing to accept that your desire for connection is what you want from the other. Your desire to reconnect. So once you reach that point, then they're equivalent, because the addict who's decided that they've reached rock bottom is similar. Their journey is now similar to somebody who has been, they're having a lovely little life, and all of a sudden something comes in which they cannot ignore, which is existential, which is forcing them to change their life right there. So now we are back to this person who's in a spot where no one wants to be. You bring in the other who wants to witness it, who wants to be present, who agrees to be present. And then your next point, which is what you just said, is that if you decide to be the witness, and I think in the beginning of the discussion we started this, but there is this need to be reconnected back from the isolation of whatever the trial is. If you are providing that need to the person who needs it, still part of humanity, but there is a difference between the person who's suffering and the person who's witnessing suffering.
Answering the need.
You decide to do it, then your next point is exactly right. You're there to see how they respond, because human beings are vast. And the trial, which is an existential trial or a trial of the heart, of the spirit, has a vast number of responses. Each one of them is precious, because the person who's undergoing the trial, it brings out, as gold is tested in fire, it brings out the best. It brings out unique, wondrous insights. It's not that they want to be there or that you want to watch it, but there's something precious, really, I said it already, about these types of trials, because they illustrate the dark areas of the occult areas of the human soul, where you are pushed to the edges, you're pushed to your limit, and then you have these responses. So we saw it being the witness to these kids in the cancer wards, and you can see it throughout in times of great extreme need, in times of great extreme trial. People they do amazing things, but if they're not witnessed, they don't come back to us. They don't come back to the whole. So that role of being the connection back and appreciating, because I think when you're in the trial, you may respond and do an amazing thing, but you discount it because you say, well, I had to do that. I was forced upon me. But it's not discountable. It is so valuable and so precious, but you need someone else there who's not suffering, who can say, be amazed, understand how incredible the response has been, and appreciate it. Understand it, bring it, witness it, see it, hear it.
Yes, it's the I see you aspect of what it means to be human. We need to be seen by others so that you are connected up to that vastness of humanity. I mean, what happens under extreme stress? That internal heart response is what we're talking about. It's not this, let me think about it, and these are my possible options, and I'm going to check it off and see if this is, let me weigh this. Like, no, you are thrust into a situation. And what is your heart response? And a situation especially that threatens life, it's very telling what a person's response to that threat is going to be, especially if it's as a witness. In other words, it's not happening to you directly, but it's happening to another. So what is your response? Observing this threat happening to another person.
There's that too. The witness will be changed by witnessing.
Yes, you must be changed because suddenly you are not center of your own considerations.
Ooh, that's a very good point.
Your whole habit form of interacting with your life is changed because you realize that being has nothing to do with making sure that all my appropriate, comfortable mirrors are working properly. You are thrust into a place where your eyes must take in exactly what's going on. And for the sake of the one that you witness, will you reflect true, or will you distort what's actually happening? Because that distortion has to do with whether or not your eyes are for the person that you are asked to witness for, or your eyes are for yourself.
You see, the problem with you is you put too many great points into one set.
Yeah.
But those are all wonderful points because the witness is changed by the witnessing. And the witness can be true or it can be self-serving. And these are gradations of witnessing. There are you know that there are people who are truly there to be the connection, to be the witness. And then you know that some people will be in this same situation, but what they're there for is to see, kind of to be a voyeur.
Mm.
There's a big difference between a voyeur and a witness. Now, the word voyeur has come to have other connotations, that you're sort of, peeking through a curtain at somebody. But in essence, what the idea here of a voyeur is that you're getting some sort of satisfaction and benefit from your witnessing. And this is not true witnessing. Being someone's true witness is, as you said, you are there to be present, to accurately observe, but not put your own spin on it.
I mean, it's the other person's life as a witness. You are there. And you're not supposed to be watching them like you're watching some television show or some video. So that you sit there and you can be amused or cry and some people, they interact with everyone around them as if everybody is some video that they're supposed to be getting something from.
Right. Well, and the whole idea of being a witness isn't so that you can gossip about it or be made important by it or any of those things.
Yes. But that concept, it has been, I don't know how to put it, because most of people's experiences are like watching some video or a movie or a television program. This is how they observe things, as opposed to being a third person of observation, where you take it in and you're trying to take it in fullness, to see how it all unfolds, or where it belongs, or to see where the true heart lies.
Well, that's exactly the right point. Is that I think maybe that's the distinction point, Margaret, is that if you're like a voyeur or a video game or something, when you're seeing someone else's situation, you're doing with the eyes of the head, with the eyes of the eye, the ego.
The eyes of the ego, yes.
And when you're being a true witness, you're doing it with the eyes of the heart. You're feeling the echo of the other person's humanity in your heart.
Right.
And you're seeing how true their responses are by feeling how true they are in your heart. You know what they're going through. It's sort of vicarious, but it's really in the sense that it's the heart echo. And that's the connection, is that you say, well, this could happen to me. The voyeur always thinks that they're like a video game. You're safe. You can just respawn. You can just you can do a do-over. Nothing matters if it's a video game or if it's just something that you heard about. It's just that thing that happened to that person. And you talk about it. But there's you've got no heart in the game. You just have your head in the game. You have your head and your ego, your I, saying, well, that's them and this is me, and I'm just seeing it. It's like a television program, a video game, whatever you want to call it. The heart isn't allowed to do that. The heart feels it. The eyes of the heart are connected to the other heart, and so there's pain involved. If you watch another suffering, truly is to feel a portion of their suffering in your own heart. And to be helpless about it can be just as much of a different kind of pain for you, to be helpless to do anything but be their witness. If nothing more, at least I can do that for you. But it's certainly not like a video game or a voyeur.
The realization has got to come in that what this person requires of you is not what you are capable of giving them on your own. What they require is your presence, your spirit to be there. And what I find fascinating is many times people do not want to bring their own presence forward. When I say presence, I don't mean ego. I mean their presence where you're so vulnerable because your humanity is made evident in front of your eyes. So a lot of people will, let me find another way where I can meet that need, because that need rises up in you, and you know you must do something, but your ego and your head basically tells you, let's find something that we can do that will make a difference, and tell yourself that story. Whereas what's being required of you is that your spirit is being asked to be present in that moment behind your eyes. You are behind your eyes. You and you alone. No mask. Just there. And when you are present there, that's when your vulnerability rises. You realize there but for. That could easily be me, Lord. If I am here, maybe that's what we could talk about on the other side.
Well, yes, but that's exactly right. That's the risky. That's what makes it so scary to be a true witness. Is that you risk your own heart, you risk breaking your own heart, you risk injuring your own heart by being present. If you go out and say, "Well, I'm going to go out and sell 1 million chocolate bars for that person," well, that's great. You sold 1 million chocolate bars, but it isn't. You're not risking anything. Even when you hand over the 1 million chocolate bars, it's not your heart.
It's empty, or it is a drop in the vastness of the heart. And when that happens, it's again. I think we talked about this earlier, how people are trying to fill that void in the heart. And they do it by doing things or getting stuff and throwing it in there. Like, okay, this car, this is going to make me happy. Or I'm going to feel fulfilled if I have this position. Or, if I get these new shoes, I'll be,
Well, that would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoes. I mean, that's a whole different thing, shoes.
But understanding that who you are as a human being, your heart's not looking for that at all. What is it really looking for?
And what we're looking for right now is a little break, go back to the studio. You guys think about this, and we're going to come back on the other side. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about bearing witness.
Rick Riordan fans, love mythology with plenty of action and humor? Destroyer's Blood is for you. The new fantasy novel by award-winning author Michael Lynes is book 1 of the adventures of Dev Kalian, the Blood series. Follow Dev and his magic sword Betrayer as they are suddenly attacked and forced to return to Olympus to fight in a war they want no part in. The world of men and gods is about to be destroyed by Zeus's ancient foe, and only Dev and Trey can stop him. The conflict never stops, and the amazing twist will have you on the edge of your seat. Act now while the ebook is on sale for only 99 cents. Destroyer's Blood is available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Kobo, and fine e-tailers everywhere. And while you're there, get the free prequel, It's in the Blood, available for a limited time.
The Timeless Esoterica radio program with Dr. Bruce is broadcast on the fourth Monday of every month at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern on ArtistFirst.com. We explore topics including the paranormal, alien life, mysteries, conspiracies, hidden history, oddities, and much more. Each show will feature a special guest with exciting and thought-provoking discussion. Always keep an open mind, an open heart, live forever, and remember Dr. Bruce believes in you.
There is a Reaper is the story of 5-year-old Christopher Aaron and his life-changing struggle with leukemia. Winner of both the Indie Bragg Medallion as well as the reader's favorite silver medal for memoir, There is a Reaper has more than 100 Amazon book reviews and a 5-star rating. It has been described as life-changing, spiritual, a must-read. Just released on Audible and iTunes, this memoir is also available in paperback and on Amazon Kindle for only 99 cents. Get your copy of this life-changing memoir today.
Hi, this is Minette Lauren, author of Race for the Sun. Do you believe in guardian angels? Check out Book 1 of my Soul Watcher series. It can be found on Amazon.com or anywhere fine books are sold. Go to www.minettelauren.com and you are listening to the ArtistFirst Radio Network.
The Fat Man Gets Out of Bed is the latest book from Michael Lyons, the award-winning author of There is a Reaper. Featuring 13 original stories, this wide-ranging collection has everything. Forbidden love, gods versus demigods, weird invading aliens, sexy seductive artificial intelligence, and unusual passion between the living and the dead. All set amidst fantastic worlds of pain and loss and boundless joy. From the sublime to the macabre to the bittersweet, The Fat Man Gets Out of Bed will leave you breathless with laughter, brimming with tears, trembling with suspense. Available now on Amazon.com, Google Play, iTunes, Kobo, and fine e-tailers everywhere.
Get ready,
Thank you for joining us on The Soul of the Everyman on the ArtistFirst Radio Network. Let's get back to your hosts, Michael and Margaret Lyons.
Can I get a witness? And that's our topic tonight, folks. And welcome back. I'm Michael Lyons. Welcome back to the second half of The Soul of the Everyman. And
I'm Margaret.
she's
Welcome
Margaret.
back.
And tonight's show, we're talking a little bit. Our subject, rather, is on basically on being a witness. And if you missed the first half, what we basically are talking about is not somebody who's being a part of a testifying at a trial, but in essence being a person who we all need at one point or another in our lives. We're all going to go through trials. It just happens. It's no one gets off the planet alive, which is our tagline, our motto. And in the course of getting off the planet or in the course of your life on this planet, you're going to run into trials. When you do, the tendency is for people to isolate you. They don't want to really interact with you because there's this idea that, gosh, what's happening to them could happen to me. But you do need someone, even if they can do nothing for you other than be there and be your witness, be the person who reconnects you back to humanity. And we talked a lot about that, what that role entails and how risky it can be for the witness. But there's one piece of being a witness that we didn't mention, and that's that once you have done this for somebody, you have to also bear witness. Now, bearing witness is not the bear in the woods. It's not bearing, like the Kardashians. It's it's bringing. It's the idea of bearing is that you carry, you take what you have seen and you carry it with you, and then you can show it to somebody else. This is what I saw. These were the wonderful things. These were the horrible, terrible things that happened.
It's like bearing children.
Bearing children, which is kind of like bearing them like the Kardashians and holding them. And occasionally throttling them, but we don't want to get into that.
I was going to also mention the bearings of a car.
A wheel bearings. But when you perform this role of being a witness for someone else, or if you've had someone be your witness, and I'm sure there are many times in our lives that we've been in trials, and there have been people who've just been there for us. Those are the people that really change the whole experience. That the idea of that being a witness is that you don't just, it's not a static role. You are changed by experiencing through the eyes of the heart someone else's trial. And part of the change is internal and certainly is visceral, and because it comes in through the heart, into your soul. But then the other part of the change is that you have their story now as part of your story, and you can tell their story, especially in the event that this person's trial ended in them, going on into the next life and not being able to personally tell their trial. But even when you are there to personally tell your trial, you're saying what happened to you, but a witness can say how it affected them, how it made them, how it changed their lives in a way that is very unique and different from the way it changes the actual sufferer's life. Because the witness is all the rest of us. It's Everyman. It's kind of the soul of the Everyman. Wait a minute. But as a witness, you are the soul of the Everyman. You are the person who is seeing with the eyes of the heart someone else's trial and relating it back to the whole, to the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. It's letting someone else come in contact with their true humanity. What is the commonality of the soul of every man? And it is that reverberates in the heart.
I saw what you did there. It's true.
And when that, and there is no word to describe that feeling where your heart is in resonance with the other person in their experience, and that resonance creates it's almost as if you're writing the story down in an eternal moment.
Mm-hmm.
Never forgotten. Because the heart and the soul, which resides in the heart, is the one that carries this through and shares this with the soul of humanity. It reverberates. The story is true. It brings every emotion in, which is really what scares most people. Because you are in the gambit from the depths of despair to the heights of joy. All of that is in the realm of the human soul. But are you willing to take a step there? Because many people feel like they'll just, I can't do that. I'm going to get lost. I'll be overwhelmed. And the truth of the matter is, no. Your soul is amazingly resilient, and it is only in connection with another that the anchor forms so that you can experience the depth of the soul. The main reason why we are made for relationship. It is only in relationship that you can plumb the depths and the heights of what it means to be human.
And in this case, this relationship is the relationship of being present, of being their witness. It's a different relationship than a relationship of love or a familiar relationship. You can be a witness for a perfect stranger.
Yes.
Because it's humanity to humanity witnessing. And then, what you just said is exactly correct. You witness, you are changed, you find something which is eternal. And then you retell it in the best way possible. And your witness and mine may be flawed. It may be imperfect. But true art, true subtle artistry in music, in painting, in words that talks about these witnesses is what echoes down through the ages. Because 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years from now, somebody can read something that was written in Roman times and feel the same heart echo, because if it's true then, it's true now. The soul of humanity, the soul of the everyman, doesn't change. We are who we were 1,000 years ago. We are who we were 10,000 years ago. From the point that we realized humanity as a thing, soul within heart within body, the same pain that was felt by a Neolithic mother watching their child die, if they could put it into words that we could read today, we would feel that same soul echo. It's the same pain. We are people with different technology and different clothing and different languages, but if you come to the heart, it's all the same. It's the experience of life today is exactly relevant to the experience of life 200 years ago, to the experience of life 200 years hence, or whatever. The time doesn't matter. This is where we realize our eternity, because the eternity, you can see that time doesn't matter in the heart at all. The heart experience is timeless.
Mm-hmm. If you love, and you love that deeply, where there is no conditions on your love, then it goes past all boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize that this is the only thing that truly lasts. The one thing that truly is, and was, and always will be.
Love, properly experienced in the heart and expressed in some medium, is instantly relatable and identifiable throughout all of humanity, from the year zero to now, and from now till however long humanity lasts.
Yes.
Because that's our eternity. The truth of if you want to live in an eternal moment, live in your heart. Your mind will come and go, and everything's seconds, and cell phones and video games and all this other stuff. Wonderful. It comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. It is truly the quick little circles. The heart is eternal. When you see the truth between you and another, that same truth properly encapsulated and told as a witness will be, it's like, this is true for all the ages. Yeah, it really is. It's true for all the ages.
Mm-hmm. No, that is the core. Are you willing to take a step into experiencing what it means to be eternal?
Hmm.
Because that means that you must love.
You have to get close to the truth.
And trying to love unconditionally. Now, there's a subject. Because that is what it comes down to in the human lifetime. We all have opinions. We all have responses. But are you willing to take a step into a space where that love can be tasted unconditionally?
Good way to put it.
Well, it's just that's what we're willing to try, because it's too scary. What do you mean, I have to love the unlovable? Who said I have to love the unlovable?
Well, I mean, as a witness, I think, which is a very interesting fine point that you just put on this, is as a witness, you're not there to judge.
No.
And that's true. That's also true in the court of law. The witness is supposed to just report the facts. It often doesn't happen that way. But the witness is also not there to judge. You're not there to say, well, you're doing it wrong.
Well, you're not the judge.
You're not
the witness.
The judge. You're the witness. And so being a witness for somebody is seeing as much as we possibly can here, because we are all flawed, the truth, the eyes of the heart, the eternal, the unconditional. And then also as being a witness, relaying it in as non. You don't color it with your judgment. Don't color it with I would have done this or I would have done that. Relate the truth, because that's the true heart echo. So you have to also speak with the words of the heart when you witness, when you bear witness. When you witness, you have to hear, you have to see with the heart. You have to let it come in there and change your heart, change you at a basic level, and then you have to bear witness. You have to use the words of the heart. In fact, you don't bother, in many cases, don't bother trying to write it down or even feel, even try to encapsulate it as you experience it. Experience it fully and totally. And when you come to give the words, you have to go back to the feeling, and the words will come. If you go back to the heart echo, to the change that happened in you, the words will come, because they'll be the words of the heart that describe it in the way that conveys what happened to the person, what happened to you because of that person, and what therefore comes back to humanity through those words of the heart.
No, it's allowing eternity to speak.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Because when eternity speaks, it's a heart language, and it communicates purely. There's no coloring because of a like or a dislike or an opinion. It's that purity of expression, which is what we all appreciate when you see it in other art forms. Purity of expression is something that most artists, in whatever form their art happens to take, but most artists are striving for. And the things that speak are usually expressed when you're carried along, eyes open, in that moment. And that's when you can take it in. Allow that reverberation to happen within the heart, that resonance, resonating with the other person. And only when you experience that resonance will you be able to share it fully with another person. You must have the experience of being in resonance with another heart before you can even extend that outward to another person.
Right, and therein lies the risk, because you have to open yourself to do it. You have to risk being changed, having your heart broken or having your heart changed, and whatever that might. Gosh, anything can happen at that point. And so there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of kind of aversion to putting yourself out there as a witness. When something we mentioned this in the first half hour, when something happens to you, you don't get to choose. Otherwise, you'd choose it wouldn't happen to you. But to be a witness, you have to choose. You have to open yourself up to experience that you don't necessarily have to do. So there's some bravery and some risk involved. But that's the only way to mine into the truth is to open yourself to that, as you said, heart echo. Allow your heart to be broken or changed, and then take that experience, the pain or the breaking or the change, and relate it.
Well, it's allowing yourself to open your heart to a situation and a person. And that is very scary for most people, because when you open your heart, as we said, you are opening your heart to being hurt, or your heart being imprinted at the very least. And that is something that most people understand intrinsically, if not consciously, that when you open your heart to something, you are opening up to being vulnerable, to being influenced by something. And that's why most people protect their hearts. It's like, oh no, they say it's because it's pain, but it's even deeper than that. It's the danger that your identity is going to shift. And are you willing to take that shift? Or is the ego the only thing that you want as your identity? Because you're at a crux point then. Will you take in, as part of your identity, something outside of what you understand?
Right, or what you've processed and allowed and given your check boxes and...
What you thought. We have always said you are more than what you think.
You said it perfectly and succinctly. That idea of allowing, it becomes existential to you, the witness, because you have to say, I don't know, I might be a different person on the other side of this. It's an identity level change. I'm opening myself up, my heart up, to witness something which may turn me into a different me. That's pretty scary. Who knows? I might be someone I don't recognize right now.
And that is the core of our experience of life down here. Whether we like it or not, that is the core of our experience down here. I think we've said this before. The American Indians had always said, this is the place where we dream the common dream.
Yeah.
Why would you want to share in another's dream unless you are heart-sharing? And if you heart-share, that means that concepts and identity will shift. I mean, you are in a place right now where the potential is there for a vastness that literally will blow your mind.
Yeah, and the mind is being blown. Exactly.
Yes.
Because the mind is the part which tries to short circuit and protect. And say, no, we don't know. We have a ball game to go to. We have to go do our taxes and stuff. Stop that.
Run away.
Run away, because the defense mechanism against having your heart broken or changed is that you put all your little spins and all your little mental constructs and your lists and your bucket lists and everything in front of it.
But the thing is, can you honestly say to yourself, you are truly alive in that moment? I mean, that's the core of what all this is. Others, the mind will come in, the ego will come in and say, well, I've done this, check that off, done this, check that off, done that. So I must have lived.
I must have lived. According to my data, I've lived. According to all empirical evidence, I have had a life here. Well, I'm pretty sure anyway. I'm just sure. I missed a couple of the boxes. Oh my God, I might not have had a life. Yes, exactly. You can't live it's a paint by numbers level of living, which is, we all laugh at it because we understand that at a certain level there's a falseness there, that's a safety level, and it's being a witness is allowing yourself to become vulnerable and allowing yourself to have to say, I don't know what I'm going to be after I witness this. I don't know who I'm going to be.
Right.
So therefore, I can't put a check on it. I can't measure it. I can't figure out whether I've done it or not. I can't even figure out when it's over. I'll just know. And this is the kind of thing the mind goes, wah, run away screaming, because the mind doesn't want to trust that way. The mind wants things quantified, and it wants things to have numbers and check boxes and be done. And you know what? Please, folks, I mean, there are wonderful things that come from the mind and the ego. It's not something to be denigrated, but it is not something to be given the position of the be-all and end-all, and this is life in existence. It is not. It is.
Well, you are more than your mind. That's really the core of it. The mind is a part of you, and an important part.
Right.
But it's not everything. And your soul wants more than just mind.
It wants a wit. Go ahead.
Believe it or not, it wants more than just mind. And mind games and ego. There is a core of experience that has to do with the sweetness that the soul understands. And there is a joy that only the soul understands.
Exactly, and that's in essence the truth of life, and the truth of witnessing, and the truth of being a human being here. What we've come to here, at least in this discussion, is that the important things of life have to be experienced at a heart level, and they have to be shared or witnessed at a heart level, or they don't go forward. Because our lives are ephemeral. We have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Without a witness to carry it into the whole, yes, you change, and your eternal changes, but we're denying the rest of humanity the witness, the story, the how and the why of our own change that reflects.
Soul changes. The spirit is, always will be, and has been. Okay, it's a definition, all right? But I understand that the heart is the core portal by which you can touch the eternal.
Yeah.
That is the doorway.
And how it comes back. And I think that's the function of putting yourself in that vulnerable position to be changed, and then putting yourself in the position to tell the story. So, we all need witnesses, and we all need to be a witness. And what I'm witnessing right now is that the end of the hour has come.
Correct.
So I'm going to witness right now. I'm going to say, I am Michael Lyons.
And I am Margaret.
And she is Margaret. And this...
Yes, this is the soul of the Everyman, and thank you.
And thank you very much for listening.